Alright, hello, welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be going over how to do a 3D cube transition and some things that I look at when I myself am doing this transition. But before we get into that, I would just like to say thank you guys for 100 subscribers. By the time this goes up, we may be at 150, so if that is the case, thank you guys for 150 subscribers. And I don't know, man, I mean, I wasn't expecting to be saying this so soon, but since I have also opened up a Discord server for those of you who want to get better at editing and would like a more one-on-one help from me or your fellow editors that are also in that server. If that does apply to you, I do recommend that you join the server. I will be linking it in the description below for those of you who do want to join. But other than the one-on-one training, we also will be holding a few events and editing challenges in there as well. So if you want a chance to be included in a video or just to become part of a fast-growing community of people who are just like you, then once again, I do highly recommend you join this server. Now, do keep in mind that not a lot of people have joined, so don't expect to come into like a full-blown active server immediately. This can only become active with the help of you guys, and trust me, I myself will try to be as active as possible, but I can't guarantee anything, for my schedule is very tight right now. But even with that hindering my activeness, I will still try my hardest to be active in here. Oh, also, I forgot to mention, next Friday we will be hosting a 2-hour challenge for those of you who want to showcase your editing skills to the server or just to me. Join the server, and we will be hosting that next Friday at 10 p.m. Central Time. But yeah, other than that, let's get back into the actual reason that you're here, the 3D transition. Now, for starters, you do want to go ahead and grab your photos that you want to be on the sides of the cube and go ahead and put them in the composition. From there, you want to zoom in all the photos until it fills up your entire composition. For me, I'm doing a square because we're doing a cube here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'm going to go ahead and do it with the second photo as well. All right, after that, we're going to go ahead and pre-compose those photos. Make sure you have both of these two selected right here, and once you have that selected, hit OK, and then go ahead and do the same thing to the second photo. All right, once you have done that, we're going to pre-compose it again, but this time with both photos inside the same composition. So we're going to click and drag over both photos, right click in the area, pre-compose, but then this time you are going to still have these two selected, but you will also have to select this one right here, which says open new composition. Now what this is going to do is it's going to take you inside of the pre-comp that you just made. If you click up here where it says comp 1, it will take you back out of it, and if you double click on that same pre-composition, it'll take you back inside. Now what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be making our 4 or 6 sides depending on what type of cube you're making. For me, we're going to be doing 4. I just lied, we're going to be doing 6. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight over both, copy, paste. Now, depending on what kind of cube you want to do, the amount of photos that you'll actually be using will change. So if you want to use a different photo for each side, instead of just starting off with 2 in your composition, you're actually going to start off with 4, and then your last 2 are going to be a copy of any of your first 4. So if you want your top side to be a copy of the one that's up front, you would copy that one, and same vice versa for bottom. All right, once you do that, you want to go ahead and go over here to your 3D layer. We'll click it for the first photo, drag it all the way down to activate it for all of your photos, and then from here you're going to go over to where it says active camera. Click that, and then go all the way down until you see custom view 1. Now what this is going to do is it's going to put it at like a different angle so that you can see all of your sides of your cube. Now once you do that, you want to go over to the top up here by where it says snapping, turn on all 3 of these. Once you've done that, you're going to come back down to the first photo, right? Do absolutely nothing to that one. For the second photo, you're actually going to click on that, press R to open up the rotation, and we're going to be doing Y rotation. I also forgot to mention, if you're having troubles remembering which photo is going to be which side, you want to go over here and right click over each specific photo and rename it to which side you want it to be. So for my first photo, that's going to be my front. My second photo, I'm going to do the same thing I did to the first one, but I'm going to name this one left, and then do the same thing for the next one. Name that one, this one's going to be back, and then the next one's going to be right. And for my last two, it's going to be top and bottom. All right, once you have all of that, you can now start the next part of your transition. So you're going to go over to your photo that's going to be on the left, which is technically going to be on the right from where we're looking. So I'm actually going to flip both of these. So for the photo that's going to be on the right, you're going to click on that, highlight it, press R to open up the rotation. And now we're going to be changing the Y rotation to -90. Once you do that, you're going to come over to this top one, this top indicator right here, click it and hold it, and then drag it until you get to this edge right here, release. Now once you've done that, I personally immediately go down to the one that says back. You can do it in any order that you wish, but this is just what I do. So from here, go to the photo that says back, switch this. You can switch to either 180 or -180. Either way, it's going to put it on the same side. And then from there, you're going to click and hold on the top right corner of this photo, drag it over to the top left corner of the photo you just moved. And from there, I like to go back to the front, click on that, highlight it. You are not going to change anything to this, but you are going to click and hold over the top right corner, drag it until you hit the top right corner of that first photo that you moved, release it. And then for the one that's on the left, you're going to press R, bring up the rotation, move that one to 90. All right, once you do that, click on the top left corner of that photo, drag it until you hit the top left corner of the photo that's in the back. And now we're going to move to the top and bottom, which this one can be a little tricky, so just follow along. Now once you do that, you're going to click on the top photo, press R, bring it up. Instead of changing the Y rotation, we're actually going to be changing the X and the Z rotation here. So the X rotation, we're going to flip to 90. And then for the Z rotation, we're also going to do 90 as well. And then we're going to grab this corner that's right here, hold it, and then bring it up until you reach this top corner here. And then we're going to do the same thing for the bottom photo as well, except this time we're going to be doing -90 for the X and -90 for the Z. And then from here, we're going to grab the bottom right corner, drag it down until we hit the bottom corner of these two squares. All right, once you do that, you can release. And then now we bring it in the null object, which we will do by clicking anywhere in this gray area down here, right click it, new null object. That's going to bring that in. And now from here, we turn on the 3D layer for that. And then once you're done with that, you're going to click and hold to highlight over every side of your cube. And then on the parent and link swirl, the parent swirl, we're going to click and drag it all the way up to null 1, release it. And now everything's going to be controlled by this null object right here. So once you're done with that, we can switch off of custom view and go back to our active camera, right? Now this is a bit of a jump scare, so do not be spooked. But once you're done with that, you're actually going to change your scale all the way down until you can see the entire cube. And from here, we're actually going to be changing the rotation. Now, when I normally do cube transitions, I like to have the base cube showing in the middle, so that's what we're going to do. I normally don't change the Z rotation, we just do X and Y, and I'm just going to do it like this. You can change it any way you want to, but for this tutorial, I'm going to be changing it this way, like this. All right. Once you get your X and your Y rotation keyed out, you're going to highlight over all the keyframes, hit F9, and then we're going to go in the graph editor now. Now just follow along with me. I'm going to show you exactly what graph I use personally. But before we do that, one thing I like to do is I like to delete the two middle ones. and just go off of this one graph like this. I like just working on one graph. I don't like really using multiple. So from here, you're going to want to create a graph similar to this. Right. Make sure that line goes through that hoop. And then once you do that, you can go on down to the Y rotation and do the exact same thing. You want to try to keep these graphs as similar as possible. This is about as similar as we're going to actually get here. So yeah. And now once you do that, you can play that. Now see, me personally, I don't like how mine looks. So we're actually going to, I don't like how slow it's going. So we're going to adjust our graph here a bit. Sometimes you just want that graph to go faster, man. All right. Once you do that, you can go on ahead and switch over to scale, because that is the next thing we're going to be doing. Wherever you have your photo set for your scale so that you can see your, wherever you have your scale set that you can see the entire cube at, that's actually going to be your midpoint, because we're going to be zooming out and then zooming back in for this tutorial. So boom, we're going to set that as the midpoint, and then we're going to zoom all the way in so that our photo covers the entire cube, and then we're going to go to the end, zoom in again. All right. Once you do that, highlight over all the keyframes by clicking and dragging over all three, or you can just click on the scale and it'll highlight all three for you. F9. This time I'm actually not going to take out the middle graph, and we're going to actually just do graphs similar to this. So something like that. And you can adjust it any way you want to, because like I said earlier, you guys aren't editors and you can change it however you like. All right. Now, once you get that, you're going to go ahead and go out of that pre-composition. And now we're going to actually make our background. Now, there's two ways you can make a background. You can just copy and paste it, increase the scaling to like, I normally do like 350, and then you press T to bring up your opacity, drop that down to anywhere between 15% and 35. And then what I also do is I do black and white over it as well. And then I also put in a blur. 5, 115, 115. That's also like another one I do. And also, don't forget to turn on your motion blur. It just looks better for 3D, in my opinion. I actually have to go inside and do that. But yeah, that's one way to do a background for a 3D transition. But the other way, which is the way I'm actually going to be showing, is you actually using a different photo for your background, and then we're going to apply a spin to that. Nothing too crazy, just something to have as a separate background. And we're not going to open up the new composition for that, but just make sure that your photo covers up the entire composition, because we are going to be applying motion tile to this. Once you do that, you go ahead and change your settings to what I have here, and also make sure to turn on mirror edges for that. And what we're going to be doing here is just a simple rotation, nothing too crazy. -180 and then 180. All once you do that, you kind of want to copy the same graphs that you had for your cube, and mine was something similar like this, so that's what we're going to have it as. I'm going to take out this middle keyframe as well, because I don't really like having my stuff like that. Right? Now I will be applying optics compensation over that. We're going to turn on reverse lens distortion, and then we're also going to change this to, you can change to anywhere between 50 and 75. All right, and once you get that in there, what I also like to do is, once again, black and white, put on a blur, 5, 115, 115, and then once again change it to the opacity from anywhere to 15 to 35. Right, once you get that, I'm going to bring in our photo, and then boom. And yeah, I mean, that's about it for the transition itself. Now, do keep in mind that this is, once again, just the basis of the transition. Now, also, this transition is a little bit more of a complicated one, so please forgive me if I had some crappy explanations at the time, or if I wasn't talking as much on some parts of the tutorial. But if you did feel that way, you can always slow down the video at any point or replay it just in case you missed something that I said. But I try to make these as informational as possible, and I try my hardest to guide you guys through these transitions, because trust me, sometimes it can get very complicated and you can get lost in the sauce and you'll just have a bad day on After Effects. But with all that being said, that is the end of the video. If you did like it, go ahead and like the video, comment any other transition ideas you want me to teach to you guys, or any questions that you might have about this transition in particular, and I'll try my hardest to answer them to the best of my ability. Subscribe if you do want to see more videos like this and all things After Effects, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your day.